I'm Brian Jonas, 43, Hello Kitty.
And I'm Jamie Roseborough, 40, Repeato. And this is the F3 Circle of Trust.
From the F3 Nation Podcast Studios.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
This is the COT Podcast, connecting the packs of F3 Nation through fitness, fellowship, and faith.
Andrew Maggio, 35, Wirebiter.
Mike Kirkos, 35, Saganaki.
Michael Barrett, 40, Rep Sleepy. Peter Ranky, 63, Bambi.
COT Podcast starts right now.
Shut up and sit down.
Back once again and coming at you live across the F3 Nation stratosphere. It is the Circle of Trust show. You got your boy Hello Kitty and Repeato dialed up here on a Thursday afternoon. And yes, good afternoon. Hello Kitty and Repeato. We see you across the social media platforms. My brother back in the saddle again.
I know. I was thinking about it. I almost botched the intro because it's been
I saw you
many weeks.
If they're watching on the old video screen.
Yeah.
You had to hit the old mute off.
Well, I was making sure I was off mute and then remembering what I needed to say because,
Right.
Been a minute since I've been in the old sidecar. So,
that you have.
How are you, my brother? I also haven't seen your smiling face in quite some time either.
Missed you at the Hoops game last night. I know you had a couple things on the schedule. We finished off the regular season with the Pangea team, handful of F3 guys, couple of civilians. We head into the playoffs. I think it's the 5 or the 6 seed, maybe the 6 seed.
Okay. It's right where
we took the number 1 team with only one loss in the entire season down to the wire last night. Lost by 3. In fact, we were down by 5. YHC hit a 3 with 30 seconds to go. Pulled us in. We fouled. We had a shot at the end down 3. Just missed it. So a lot of fight in that team. A lot of fight.
Were they resting their starters?
No, bro. They played balls out. It was
and we didn't have a lot of subs last night. So you guys
we had 6 players, bro, and it got heated. Like we earned some respect from the 1 seed last night. There's no doubt. They played hard. They played hard
for them.
All we can do now is just, Cleveland Indians this thing. Win the whole damn thing.
Win the whole damn thing.
We're just peeling off wardrobe all season long as we go.
Such a good film.
Oh, here we are, man. We're talking about all things fitness, fellowship, and faith that we see across the great F3 Nation. We've got a special guest joining us live after last week's news of the newly launched F3 Coffee. And then you guys chiming in across the stratosphere. Funny Car, good to see you. Yep. What up, Drop Thrill? Got an update on the F3 Battle X. If you guys haven't checked it out, go there. So if you're watching across one of those social media platforms, we're on Facebook or YouTube right now, you can always comment, be part of the show. If you're listening to us on the archives, we're grateful for that as well. And we hope it's been a good week. If you're an Eastern state guy and, parts of Georgia, South Carolina, kind of Eastern Seaboard, wet week here as Debbie rolled through. We fared okay where we're at. A couple leaks at the Kitty house I got to deal with. That was not a ton of fun.
It's always a nuisance. You got to get that Kills on the ceiling. It'll take care of that stain.
It's not going to stop the water from coming in where the water.
No. I mean, you got to source the problem.
Yes, got to source the problem. Then we're going to kills it up. There's no
remediation is.
We got guys. We got plenty of guys across the region that can provide that sort of help. That's what's happening here. But we roll into sort of early August. School's getting ready to go back across the nation. So maybe your morning gloom schedule adjusts a little bit. Kind of freewheeling. I saw you boys at all those cafeterias this summer. Just I'll head home whenever we head home.
8:15.
I guess I probably ought to be headed.
It is good to be able to anticipate those times where the schedules aren't crazy, where you do get to just kick it in the COT, because that's where we've learned is obviously the most critical piece of the whole morning. Yeah. And it's nice because I'm usually of the crowd that's into the COT, I'm probably bolting unless it's my AO in my neighborhood where I've got maybe and then another 10 before I got to get home before.
Well, we're out the door at 7:35 to head to school, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. So extended COT over the summer has been nice, which has meant it's kind of perfect timing to launch this F3 coffee thing that we were talking about. And huge shout out to the guys at the F3 Gear Store, f3gear.com, your official source for all F3 gear and apparel and more. You know it, you wear it daily in the gloom. And not only is the gear built for you and built to withstand the toughest beatdowns, but a portion of all sales benefit F3 Nation because F3 Nation owns the gear store, and Mud Gear, of course, a great partner and sponsor there. Big news last week, the launch of F3 Coffee, available now at f3gear.com. So go pick up a bag today in whole bean or ground. And the guy that is co-owner of that coffee shop called Valor Coffee at Alpharetta, Georgia, is none other than F3 Lurch, who joins the show now. And brother, we saw your face, man, on the announcement, letting them know that the coffee is here, and now he joins us on the show. So good to have you, dude.
What's up, guys? Good to be here.
Man, this is exciting, right? This is a journey that you and some buddies start out. You're like, we want to get in the coffee game. You start at mobile. It kind of continues to accelerate. So before you tell us that story, tell us your F3 origins. How long you been doing it? How'd they get you going at Alpharetta? Where's Lurch come from?
Yeah, so I'd say about 2 years. And from what I understand, we are like the redheaded stepchild of F3 because we just play Frisbee. Okay. So like, I don't like, is that a thing nationwide where a lot of people are playing Frisbee, like Ultimate?
I mean, I've seen Ultimate Frisbee AOs pop up every now and then. Okay. Not every time. I mean, we got a world champion. We got an Ultimate Frisbee world champion on our region. You've heard him, Robbie Brooks, Boneyard Crew. What's up?
Pretty much the reason why I heard Ma Bell went down there was because of the Frisbee.
Bring an end to the Frisbee.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a really great time. We get there 5 a.m., really nice turf field, lights are on, nice. And we just go all out. You know, it's really fun because everybody's trying really hard, but also, and everyone's really competitive, but also no one gets like bitter and butthurt. Sure. So it's like a really cool combination of like guys going as fast as they can, playing hard, but not being bitter, you know, because I've heard you guys talk about basketball. I've been a part of a lot of basketball games where people just get sideways.
Get sideways. Like they're trying to throw hands. Well, this is 35 and above league. We got mortgages and families and stuff like that. Come on, man. Like
really, you want to wait in the parking lot and run your mouth? You're 44 years old, bro.
Right.
Go home.
Right. Yeah. So that's part of how I got my name. Yeah. So I'm 6'7". So
whoa,
we need you. Come to carry.
Yeah, get up here. We need you on the squad.
We need you on the power forward spot.
I'm not over 35 though, so I don't know if I could play.
There's ways in which you can doctor birth certificates. It's fine. Nobody will.
But yeah, so I mean, Lurch, obviously the name coming from me just being tall. But yeah, I've been doing that for about 2 years. One of the site cues, I went to church with him a long time ago, and I was telling him, I was like, man, I really want to start a Frisbee league or like a football league or something to be active. And I had no idea what F3 was at that point, and I didn't know he was a part of it. And so he was like, well, what if I told you it's already a thing and you're just going to come to my thing? And I was like, okay, great.
Perfect.
So,
great.
Yeah, that's how I learned about F3.
So tell me about this journey, right? For you guys, for Valor Coffee and getting in the game. And then when you hear, hey man, we got an opportunity here to partner with F3. I mean, what a great thing to explore.
Yeah. So it started back in 2016, me and two of my best friends. One of them I've known forever, like since kindergarten. The other one which is Scobie, because he likes to brew kombucha. That's how he got his name. Nice. But yeah, so Lurch, Scobie, we're the ones that are a part of F3. So we started off when we were 19, 18 years old back in 2016. And we were just working as baristas at coffee shops. And where we lived at that time, there weren't a lot of specialty cafes, like coffee shops that are really bringing in nice coffee and they do the pretty latte art. Yeah. Everyone looks like a hipster, like that kind of a place.
Sure. Where you can wear a hat with a bill like that.
Right. Or like one of those teeny beanies, you know, like there's
for sure.
of that going on.
No doubt. No, we got it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love those places. I mean, dude, a good cup of coffee, like it's hard to beat, man.
Yeah. Yeah. There's cactuses everywhere. The walls are white. It's a whole thing. Right. So
there's black accents.
Right. So there were none of those around where we lived, because we lived in, just at the base of the Appalachian Mountains, like kind of far from the city. And so we were like, man, we could either go get a job at a nice cafe in the city and like have to drive an hour to work every day, or we could just start our own thing. And so obviously we had no money or business experience or anything that would allow us to actually start our own company. But that's the cool thing about living in this great country, is like you can just start a business when you're 19. And that's what we did. It was bit by bit. We did a Kickstarter. So we raised $10,000 on Kickstarter just from people that we knew. And, people that are part of our church, our family, friends. We have 3 people, right? So that's kind of a bigger network than just one person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we started off mobile, and then we started roasting in 2018. And how that works is like, when you don't have the money to buy a roaster or a warehouse in this whole facility, you use someone else's roasting operation. So every Monday, me and my business partner, Riley, would load up his Honda Civic with those huge, burlap sacks of coffee, and unload them and roast all day, and then, package all of it, ship it all out. So we did direct to consumer on our website. We supplied coffee for our cafe, obviously. And then we also did wholesale, which is my side of the business, where we're working directly with other coffee shops that serve our coffee.
Nice.
Then that turned into us opening like our first actual brick and mortar store in downtown Alpharetta. Then we opened our warehouse, which is way better than using someone else's space, obviously. And then we opened our second cafe a year and a half ago, a little bit closer to Atlanta. And so all the way to F3, my business partner, Scobie, was just like, hey, F3 is trying to source some coffee. Like, I think he said, like, I know we're not going to get it, but like we should try.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, that's a challenge, let's do this thing. And so just getting to meet all the guys affiliated with F3, and after some calls and sending samples out, we were the ones that got picked. So
we are.
Yeah, I think we're almost a week into the launch, and it's been really awesome so far.
Yeah, we are. We're about a week out from announcing it to the world. Been working on it for a while, and it's one of those things where the guys at the gear store are always looking for new things that's missionally aligned, makes the packs more durable. And it's like, God, one of the greatest things these guys do is not just have this workout, but it really is standing around that parking lot or going somewhere and having that sacred time where kind of that real fellowship work can happen. It's not all built around a cup of coffee, but it happens to be a pretty big part of it. Right. And for us every morning, that's, 6:15 or 6:30 to 6:45 or whatever. That is a pretty special time. It's where you can have real conversations with guys. You can see shield locks peel off. You can see whetstones and blades start to form. All that stuff kind of happens there. And more times than not, it happens with a cup of coffee. And I think we've seen a real surge in PLC, like guys either bringing percolators to the groom and finding outlets, or like the guys at Claymore do, where Repeato's the site queue, brewing up a bunch of pots, getting them in thermoses, and then just having them there and standing around and having that cup of coffee. And so here comes F3 Coffee now to be able to do that. Tell us a little bit about the coffee, man. It's hitting AOs. We had it at ours yesterday. First cup. Had the first
awesome.
Cup yesterday, man. I'll show you a video about it here in a second.
Did you enjoy it?
Well, listen, I'll tell you this much. Let's watch. You decide. You decide what the packs thought about this. Hang tight. What's up, F3 Nation? It's your boy Hello Kitty. Just finished up a workout here in Carpex. Deborah is in the house. Wet and wild, but we got coffee. We got our first bag of F3 coffee has arrived in Carpex, and we're having some. And we're getting into this thing. T-claps to the boys of Valor. Great work. Great cup of Joe. What do you think?
10 out of 10. Really good. Really good.
Whoa. Ringing endorsement, Cocoa Crisp. He knows a thing or two about coffee. Is that not the greatest cup of coffee you've ever had?
It's the best cup of coffee I've ever had.
Go get some, f3gear.com. I mean, you're off to a good start, bro.
Yeah, I guess the best ever is a good start. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think it's a good start. So
and that was a Georgia boy. That's Chop Block. He's a Georgia.
That's a Georgia guy. And Coco Crisp has like a 1-year-old. So he's been drinking coffee basically straight for a year. So he knows a thing or two. But really, in all seriousness, man, we are excited. It's starting to make the rounds. It's starting to get into guys' hands and coffee pots and AOs. And so tell us a little bit about what it tastes like, man. What kind of coffee we got here? It's really, really good.
Yeah. So our philosophy as a roastery is it's less about this kind of traditional like light, medium, or dark roast, and you choose one. That's really the only way that coffee is described. You know, like coming from a specialty coffee background, we're used to buying more expensive coffees and then just roasting them to maximize the inherent innate flavor found within that green bean before it's roasted.
Yeah.
And so for this coffee for F3, some of the coffees that we were sending out as samples to people, they were like, we like this, but it's too light. Like, you know, it needs to be darker. And we're like, okay, you know, we're gonna
on the heat.
We're gonna roast this thing darker. And so, yeah, you know, it's the darker you roast a coffee. Roasting is sort of like the great equalizer, you know. So if you had two different coffees and they tasted very differently, but you roasted both of them really dark, they would end up tasting pretty similar, right? Because you're just breaking down that flavor more and more and adding more of that like carbon flavor that you get from cooking something, basically. So that's what we're doing with this coffee. It's a coffee from Brazil. And kind of an interesting thing, I can't remember if I said this on the launch video or not, but it's what's called a pea berry. And so I actually have a visual here.
Bam! He's got it right there on his arm. If you're watching, go back and watch the video. You can see it. It's
great.
It's a great visual.
So those cherries that are on a coffee tree, the coffee beans are just the seeds of that fruit, right? And so there's typically 2 seeds in each cherry, and they're kind of opposing each other like this. But with a pea berry, it's this weird mutation that happened a long time ago. It's just one bean. So I don't know if you've noticed in your bag of F3 coffee, but the beans look a little different. They're like smaller and more of an oval shape.
Nice.
That's because they're just one in the cherry. And you might be tempted to think that like, oh, that leads to a smoother flavor. Not really. Like it doesn't have this big impact on the taste. Like, you know, we just love how it tastes roasted light, and definitely how it is dark too. So
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Good stuff, bro. All right. Well, listen, go to f3gear.com. It's available there now, whole bean or ground. And you can either grab a bag or you can save $1 if you do it on subscription. They can just keep it coming. You can keep it stocked, locked, and ready to roll. And brother, we're excited, man, for this journey, and excited for more guys to get it in their mugs.
Same here.
All right, dude. We'll catch up with you later.
All right, Lurch.
Good.
Peace.
See you, buddy.
See you, Lurch. F3 Lurch, Valor Coffee out of Alpharetta, Georgia, the real deal, and now available for U packs. You got to get some at your AO, bro.
Yeah, Skipper and I were talking about putting an order in and making sure we have a plethora.
I got a couple bags coming, so I can make sure you have a little. We got a couple bags.
Say shizzle.
Bags en route.
I'm excited about it. I think it's a cool opportunity.
I am too. My brother, why don't we take a quick break?
Alrighty.
Right. We'll come back after that because we've got to get to Katy, Texas. We got to get to North Lake, Texas. We got to get to Tacoma, Washington to catch up with more news of the F3 Nation. It's your boy, Hello Kitty and Repeato. You're watching or listening to the F3 Circle of Trust. We'll be right back.
The 5 core principles of F3 are that it's free, it's open to all men, it's held outdoors rain or shine, peer-led in a rotating fashion, and always ends in a circle of trust.
Welcome to Family Farms, where our culinary journey is woven with passion, dedication, and a commitment to crafting the finest bacon-wrapped chicken, a timeless delicacy that has tantalized the taste buds since 1974. At Family Farms, we're more than just a traditional name. We've evolved into purveyors of gourmet delights. Join us on this flavorful adventure, where every bite tells a story of tradition, quality, and the enduring spirit of Family Farms.
Back in the good old days, we used to have these large yellow books delivered right to our doorstep that gave us phone numbers of businesses and services that could meet our needs. The only problem is, we didn't know if we could trust any of them. Well, thanks to F3, we are connected with incredible PACs in our local communities. But what we don't necessarily have is a listing of the businesses of those PACs. Introducing the F3 Warrior Biz Network, where you can connect with PACs in your local community or from coast to coast throughout this great nation. You can connect with other biz PACs to meet your needs, or if you're a business owner, you can register your own business so that other PACs know about the services that you provide. Through the Warrior Biz Network, you have reliability and you have connectivity, and you can sign up today to represent your business or to find other businesses that you can trust. Join the Warrior Biz Network today at warriorbiznetwork.com.
Welcome back to the F3 Circle of Trust. Great conversation with our man Lurch. F3 Coffee available.
Yeah, dude. I'm actually gonna have to have a cup of coffee this afternoon.
Little 2:30, 3 o'clock Java to get you through the rest.
Dude, we got coffee. We got bacon wrapped chicken. I just
got so much stuff, man. Got so much great stuff.
You
know what else we have?
What do we have?
The menu of podcasts here at the F3 Network is growing. Maybe you've heard of the High Impact Man podcast with DFib and Dial Up. Great guys out of Pennsylvania. We're going to be welcoming them here to the official F3 family. They've gone through the crucible. We made them go through a whole, we made them go. It's basically like sort of becoming a Jedi master. You got to go through all these whole tests, and it's very intensive process. And there's a hell week involved, and you got to run a lot of errands, and Dark Helmet makes you do a bunch of stuff for him. But the guys have made it through. They've made it through the official screening. They did enough shows without cursing that we've allowed them just enough. We'll take care of the rest of that here. So be on the lookout, because the High Impact Man podcast will be airing on these channels as well. So excited to have them.
Did you tell me a start date? I didn't hear.
I don't think so. I don't think I did, because I don't know one.
Yeah.
But I know it's forthcoming.
It's imminent.
All right. We've got a quote worth repeato coming up. And at the end of the show, we have a very special conversation with our man Crab Legs out of South Wake. He's been hit with ALS, got hit with it a few years ago, been obviously battling, become a huge advocate for it. And he's got a call to arms for the PACs. If you remember when those ice bucket challenges were happening about 10 years ago, it was like a big deal. Everybody was doing
all that. Yeah.
Right? It's the 10-year anniversary of that. And he's been battling ALS for probably 7 or 8 years. And so Crab Legs will join.
The ice bucket challenge was all started as an ALS awareness campaign.
100%. 100% it was. Yeah, that's right. Hey, guys. Hey, 88. Where you at? Where are you at?
On the East Coast?
Where are you, 88? Where in the world is Matt Rayburn, 88? Oh, that was terrible.
It's not bad.
Sheldon's checking in. Bazinga. Way to see you.
Des Moines.
Bibbs at a Mobile. What up, dog?
I was in Houston this week, but I didn't get a chance to get in the gloom, but I was in Houston. So I know you mentioned we were going to get some stuff from Katy, Texas.
We are. In fact, we are.
Right around the corner.
We saw this come across the airwaves of some form this week. It said, from Katy, Texas, I love a good beatdown takeover. Jotun I don't know. They took over the spillway. They got the ghost flag back. All I know is it looked cool. I love that they got a ghost flag in play. Love all the PACs. I get it's essential to probably what we do here, where if enough guys from a neighboring region show up that morning and they outnumber the regular PACs for that region, they could take the ghost flag away. So
correct.
We saw that happen. So that was pretty dang cool. We're going to show you a video from North Lake, Texas. So there was your Katy thing. We'll do that in a second, but got to give a shout out to the men of F3 Tacoma, Washington. We supported a local charity at their event called Unleashed. They climbed 1,600 steps at a local high school football stadium, which, by the way, what a cool.
Hold on. That's
high school? That's what I said. Look how cool that is. What? It's awesome.
That looks like the school from 10 Things I Hate About You.
It looks like Hogwarts
or something. It's a castle.
No, you're right. It does have that kind of look to it, which is cool. Afterwards, they helped the community garden with cleanup on some overgrown grass. They had a bunch of kids, 2.0s. Apparently, they were taking ice baths. I don't know. Looked awesome though, right? Gobblers over there on the right with some 2.0s, but Yeah, you're right, dude. That was the first thing I thought. I was like, look at that campus.
SHS. Is that Seattle High School? Is that really what that is?
Well, they're in Tacoma, right?
Oh, they're in Tacoma.
So
okay.
yeah, it could be something else. They're down in the Tacoma area, which is pretty cool. Our boy 88 checking back in. He just rolled into East Texas on I-20. All over the place, Maddie.
Got a long way to go.
He's got a long way to go, but you know what? Plenty of time to get there. All right, let me show you this video. The packs always are amazing. Packs Productions, some of the best stuff. This thing was actually released last year. It's the first time I saw it, though, the other day. Came across the feed. There's a whole version of this. You go to the F3 YouTube channel. It's there. But I just want to show you the first minute and a half because these guys do the 5 core principles, but they put their own little twist on it at the beginning of this hype video. It's pretty damn good. Let's take a look.
Hey, I'd like to say thank you, everybody, for showing up today. And also thank you for help growing the region exponentially, which is also helping to feed our mission, which is to plant, grow, and serve small workout groups for men for the invigoration of what? That's right. Can I get an aye? Aye. That's right. That's right. Let's go. We got 5 core principles we are beholden to. 1, your wallet will thank you because we are free, no strings attached. 2, regardless of race, creed, or culture, or religion, tall, short, former athlete, or first time working out, we are for all men. 3, you will not find an empty workout in the comfy confines of a workout facility. We're outside with nature, any type of temperature, and all 5 seasons. Yes, I said 5 seasons because Texas summer is a thing in itself. 4, I am not a professional. We lead in a rotational fashion, which means the individual to your left or your right will have an opportunity to lead a beat down one day. And last but not least, we end in a circle of trust. Can I get a Ric Flair? Woo! Let's get it.
Bro, I never met that dude. I love that guy. I love that guy, man.
I'm just sitting back and like basking in the message and the presentation of the principles.
That's why I was like, I know this is from November. It first hit the airwaves in November, but I was like, I want to just listen to this guy. I love his explanation. I love his passion.
To do their thing, and let's get that man on the show. I want
get him on. Yeah, you know what? That's right. North Lake, we need your help. We need to know who that high impact man. Maybe it's Halo is who I saw the video come through.
Okay,
but help us find that guy because he was outstanding.
He's wearing a sweatband around his head like it's a halo.
I know, but it could be. And can I get a Ric Flair woo? I mean, come on, bro.
Might have to steal that.
Yeah, you probably should steal that. It's good stuff. No, I loved it. Anyways, keep it up, guys. Keep up the great work. PAX Productions always putting out incredible work. And if you have videos making their way across, send them to us. Send us a link, COT@F3Nation.com. We can play them right here. And if you want to be a part of the show, call us up 844-4COT PAX. And if you have our personal numbers, you can always text us and get a hold of us. That's how this week's Quote Worth Repeato came across your desk, my friend.
Yeah, man. Was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago?
Might have been.
Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday felt like it was about 44 hours.
I said I was in Texas the first half of the week, and then we got a sick kid. So I came in, took that over so Lens could go to work.
Right.
So it's been a very blurry week with traveling in the storms and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I don't know when it came through, but from the nation's general himself, Red Baron, always on the lookout for a hearty quote worth Repeato.
Sure.
The man knows all kinds of good quotes, and this one did not disappoint as well. And one of the goats of the racket,
no doubt,
all-time goats for the racket, and Roger Federer. There's no way around hard work, so embrace it.
Pretty simple, right?
Very simple. 2 quick lines, and
it's quick to the point. No faking. Is what.
Yeah, it had me thinking about the fact that if you start thinking about what's hard or what's difficult, or thinking about how that's going to impact or impede your progress on something, you've all of a sudden taken your eyes off of what's most important, which was the goal you had in mind to achieve in the first place, or the obstacle you were working through, over, under, or around.
Yeah.
And if you start, focusing in on the wrong part of this, that it's going to be hard, it's going to be too hard, can't do it because it's hard, you've already potentially lost your opportunity. And don't run away from it.
Yep.
Embrace it.
Yep.
The growth is in the suffering, right? The growth is outside the comfort zone. That's what it all keeps coming back to. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, look, take our guy Lurch at the start of the show. Those guys took a massive risk in starting a business with no experience, no money, no nothing. So they're not pursuing a physical goal, but they're pursuing a goal in life in which they had to struggle and work through it. Yeah, man, this thought that, obviously you set a goal and no one has ever snapped a finger and that goal is accomplished. And I'm going to wax real poetic here. The goal is the goal. The journey to get there is where the real joy can take place. Yep. I was talking to somebody, me and Floppy Crust, we're having a great, we've rucked together 2 days this week, back-to-back days. If you can ever make it to the local Carpex area, if you want to go deep on a ruck with a bro.
I've been on a ruck with the Floppy.
He's great to do that. You can ruck for hours. He'll just talk to you and just start unpacking things. And what I was talking to him about was, he said, whenever we go on these rucks, guys always know I'm going to talk. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a great way to get to know guys. And the best memories that I have of knocking out that first marathon at the unofficial, shout out to Old Maid for making sure we got that unofficial marathon done, was all those training runs with Hermes and Headroom and all the other guys, and spending time with those guys and working through it and doing a 12-mile run and then doing a 16-mile run and then doing a 20-mile run, 22 by the time we were done with that one. But that kind of stuff is all part of taking joy in the journey, right? Taking joy in that journey to get there.
And besides of the physical strength conditioning, I don't honestly know. And as hard as it was, because it got hot when you were doing like the last 4 to 5 miles of that marathon.
Yeah.
But the mental training that I saw you put yourself through for the discipline of doing the runs, but then that double Maynard.
Whew, that thing was a beast. You were out there rucking.
Yeah, I only did one.
Yeah, that was.
But I did.
That was a hard day.
I did do a heavy ruck on that one. But you guys were running it twice, one way, and one way the other way, right?
Yeah.
And so that, to think about how much of a struggle that run was going to be when you were at your, let's say, your 7 and 8 mile runs, and how hard those were, and if you started focusing on in 6 weeks or whatever it was, I'm running 3 times this amount nonstop. I think if you're thinking about stuff like that, you're setting yourself up for less than your full potential.
Well, you know what? My favorite of this sentence, I mean, it's all great, right? There's no way around it. That last sentence is empowering. Make it empowering. Embrace it. All right. If I'm embracing the suck, then it's mine. I love this. I rejoice in my suffering. Suffering produces endurance, character, and hope, right? That's right out of Romans. I love it. You should love it. It's going to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy, right? But the more that you can embrace it or be empowered by it, right? The more that it can just be what you're all about. Like, and that's where you can get empowered and you can just, I love it. I want it. Let's go do it.
And think about it beyond yourself. We're sort of focusing on the self and the building of the self, but your kids are watching you struggle through things right now, whether you realize they're watching or not. And so how are you progressing through the things that you are struggling with, both, relationship with your neighbors, your communities, what your workplace, for goodness sakes, like what are your kids seeing you work through challenges? How are you handling a challenge? How are you embracing that challenge? What's it going to take to achieve this goal you set out for you or the family or your household? Like, there's a bigger piece to this beyond just the self, but we obviously want to get ourselves right so we can get others right.
That's right. Well said, my brother. All right, man. Great show.
Yes. Good to be back, man. Thanks for keeping me on the payroll.
So we got you. Well, it's easy when we don't send checks out. So it makes it easier.
True.
To the guys watching on the live stream, we're going to dip out here. To the guys listening back on the podcast replay, you will hear that conversation with our man Crab Legs. If you're watching live, go back and watch the archive version of this or go listen to the podcast. You can hear our entire conversation with Crab Legs. And if another man hasn't told you to stay, I love you. Repeato loves you. The whole nation does. Go out there and get after it. We'll see you guys next time. Yeah, that's right. Have a chance to catch up with Larry Falavina, better known as Crab Legs. He's not that far from me. I'm up in Apex. He's in South Wake. So let's bring him in and say hello on this fine day. My brother, it is good to see you and a good day, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to be here.
Absolutely. We're not very far separated, but we're doing this thing across the digital divide because that's how we do these sorts of things. Are the boys of South Wake behaving themselves this week?
Probably not.
Is Midget behaving himself this week?
Sure. Yes.
Well, Crab comes to us from South Wake. And if you guys have followed his story and his journey, it's made its way around F3 Nation before. We've shared updates from his journey. We've done taps. We've seen you very actively engaged because about 7 years ago, 2017, you're diagnosed with ALS, and it's something that becomes part of your life's journey. But 3 years before that, this ALS Ice Bucket Challenge thing becomes a thing to start raising money for that. So take me back to maybe 10 years ago, right? Your introduction to this thing. And then, man, 3 years later, it really kind of hits home for you.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was 10 years ago, August, 3 young men in their 20s decided that they were going to try and end ALS, something that hadn't been done in 100 years. So they started a social media campaign. And it turned out, I've got the numbers here, 17 million people dumped ice on their heads and posted it on social media.
I remember doing it. Yeah, absolutely.
I did it with my kids. I mean, I looked at the video the other day. The kids were little then. Now they're all, bigger than me. But yeah, we dumped ice on our heads. We wanted to become, part of that cause. But honestly, I don't think I really fully understood or appreciated, what ALS was. And for those of you who maybe don't know, it's a neurological disease. It kills the nerves in your brain and your spine that let you move your muscles. So those nerves die. You can't move your muscles. You can't move. You can't eat. You can't talk. And eventually you can't breathe because you can't move your lungs. So it is a devastating disease. The Ice Bucket Challenge really changed the course of that disease. It led to a ton of research. It led to a couple of drugs being developed, including the one that I'm on, which I think is a big reason I'm still sitting here talking to you today. So, it really changed the course of this disease.
Yeah. From that moment, but then to 2017, where this thing enters your life and becomes part of your journey moving forward. We don't need to relive too much of it. Maybe this is the first time guys are hearing your story. And we are going to talk about that baseball and those baseballs and that thing over your shoulder there here in a second. But when that news, right, when you're going through those initial, making peace with that, what was that like in the beginning?
Yeah, I'm doing the workouts, I'm running, and then suddenly things don't work like they're supposed to. It's surprising, and it takes. It's not like you can take a test and say, oh, you have ALS, right? You have to go through all these steps to get diagnosed. So it was big, when you can't do the things that you were always doing. And, let's be honest, we all know someday it's coming, right? We're never guaranteed another day, but we don't think about that usually until something happens either to us or someone close to us. So, it's, for me, it's my faith, right? I trust that God has a plan for me and that he's going to use this for his glory. And that's what helps me get through it.
We're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of the Ice Bucket Challenge. You've got a challenge for the PAX as to how they can maybe step up. We'll talk about that. How did the F3 guys in your area rally around you?
I mean, they've been fantastic. As soon as I was diagnosed, everybody rallied around me. They've helped around the house. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't post very much anymore just because I'm not, at that level, but I still have guys checking in on me. I still have guys asking me to lunch, coffee, whatever it is. So, it's a great network, and it's been 7 years, and, I'm still getting support. So it's amazing.
You talked about, not taking things for granted. We don't know how much time we have. You've set out on a mission to take advantage of that time and travel our country, go to ballparks around the United States so we can see over your shoulder there, the corner of the United States, right? And if you even bring it there, you can see the baseballs. You can spot on the map. So tell us a little bit about this journey. Where haven't you been, I suppose?
I've still got a couple states left, but it was amazing. It was a time for me to bond with my boys, with the family, to raise awareness about ALS. And actually, the purpose was to meet with other people who had ALS and tell their stories. I think, thankfully, ALS has gotten a lot of attention lately, probably more than ever. You've got some pretty famous people who unfortunately have had this disease. So I think people are starting to realize it's a devastating disease, and we can end it. And like everything else, it takes money, it takes funding. That $115 million accelerated research like it had never been accelerated before, and people are starting to benefit from that. So we can end this disease.
There's more work to be done to do that, right? And the way in which we can do that is to rally around causes, and whether that means we dump a bucket of ice on our head to bring some awareness to raise some funds, right? That we were united 10 years ago in that sort of big wave and moment. I remember standing outside of our townhouse in Silver Spring, dumping it, challenging my brother and a couple of buddies to do the same. Right. So, all right. So what can the F3 guys do? Because the F3 guys love a good challenge. We're already going to be outside. We're going to be stinky and sweaty anyway. So how can they rally up?
You're already hot and sweaty, right? So my challenge is to get the regions all around the country to rally and do an ice bucket challenge. Get as many guys together as you can, whether it's at your own local workout or whether it's a bunch of groups getting together. Dump some ice on your head, video it, post it on social media, and I've got a hashtag for you too. Hashtag IceBucket10. Nice. And that'll get it posted out there. And if you can, please donate. It's the money that was raised from this ice bucket challenge that made a change. I was at an ALS conference a few weeks ago. Somebody asked one of the researchers, what can we do, to beat this disease? What can we do to accelerate it? What can we do to make things move faster? And his answer was very simple: money.
Yeah. Resources, man. Resources to combat this thing. Where can they go, right? Where's the preferred organization place to make those donations so we can really have the best impact?
Yeah, if you can visit als.org/IBC for Ice Bucket Challenge.
You can see it. I'm putting it right there on the screen right now.
Awesome. So there'll be more information about the Ice Bucket Challenge. If maybe you didn't do it 10 years ago or hadn't heard of it, tell you all about it. There's a cool video and there's a place to donate. So if you can do that, I would appreciate it. And everyone who's fighting this disease, that's one of the things about the Ice Bucket Challenge too, is it gave everyone hope. Now, unfortunately, the 3 young men who started this are no longer around to see the benefits, but they created a legacy that a lot of people are benefiting from now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what they did. And I was thinking the same thing, right? They leave right. They've left it better than they found it. They've created a legacy, and in their honor, we will continue to fight on. You guys can even probably go dig up those videos of you 10 years ago doing it. We can do some side-by-sides and see how you guys look by comparison. That's right. You've seen so many F3 men make so many positive benefits in their life. Brother, we will rally around you on this. There's no doubt about that. Guys, you hear the charge from my man Crab Legs. That website back up on the screen right now, so you can go there. That's the place to donate. What was that hashtag again? IceBucket10?
IceBucket10.
IceBucket10. Brother, thanks for sharing it. We're on it. The nation will rally around it.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks.